بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. قال وعن ابن عمر رضي الله عنهما أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم عامل أهل خيبر بشطر ما يخرج منها من ثمر أو زرع، وفي رواية لهما فسألوا أن يقرهم بها على أن يكفوا عملها ولهم نصف الثمر، فقال لهم رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم نقركم بها على ذلك ما شئنا، فقروا بها. So Ibn Umar radiallahu anhu reported the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam had an agreement with the people of Khaybar. That's after conquering Khaybar. So they don't leave their farms. So they would farm and produce the fruits, and they would take 50% of that revenue, and the other 50% goes to the Muslims at that time. And this is an indication, one of the allowable forms of, as we mentioned last weekend, part of the partnership is the mudaraba, right? You give someone money, you agree that he would trade or work or whatever, and would charge you a certain percentage of money. This is something similar in farming, where you give someone the land, they would work in it, and they would charge a certain percentage of the produce. So this is one of the allowable forms, except the Hanafi said this is not allowable, but the hadith is very clear that it is allowable.
What's not allowable, he said?
الأحناف said ما بيصير على شطر شطر من الثمر.
So what's his solution?
No, they said this is only was for Khaybar, the people of Khaybar. الأراضي المفتوحة عنوة. قد جمهور المسلمين على جوازه. وعن حنظلة ابن قيس قال سألت رافع بن خديج رضي الله عنه عن كراء الأرض بالذهب والفضة، فقال لا بأس، إنما كان الناس يؤاجرون على عهد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم على الماذيانات وإقبال الجداول وأشياء من الزرع، فيهلك هذا ويسلم هذا ويسلم هذا ويهلك هذا، ولم يكن للناس كراء إلا هذا، فلذلك زجر عنه، فأما شيء معلوم مضمون فلا بأس به. So the hadith is clear also. On the other way, when you want to hire some people, الكراء is الأجرة, when you
salary. Like a salary.
Exactly, like wages, basically, set wages. So you lease the land for gold and silver, meaning dirham or dinar, meaning for amount of money, currency. And he said, this is okay. So you have them work for you. Instead of giving them a percentage, you're just giving them a set amount of money, right? And what is the form that is not permissible? That people would come and I own the land and you're gonna come and work for me until you're okay. I'm gonna give you whatever that piece of land produces. The third, which is in the back. Does that make sense? And I know I will take as we mentioned, what's close to the water, what's close to the river, that's gonna grow faster and grow and give more. And that is not allowed because there is gharar and there is jahala, there is, uncertainty what is gonna happen. It is not equal, right? And this is what the hadith says, فَيَهْلِكُ هَذَا وَيَسْلَمُ هَذَا. If it's close to the river, it's gonna grow. If it's far from the river, it's not gonna grow, right? So the owner cannot specify, you're just gonna take the back of the land, what I give you, right? You can give him either a percentage of the general produce, or you give him a certain set of money, a certain lump of money based on the effort. Is that clear?
effort في كده في قرار انه لا يعلم ما سيخرج منه.
You're hired to do this work, right? Like any company, right? When I hire someone and pay him $12 an hour, right? It's $15 an hour. We go by minimum wage of 15, right?
But if the compensation is part of the produce.
No, this is, the compensation, it's basically you're taking a risk, right? You're taking a risk just like a trading. This is a partnership. You work and you take a risk like the owner does. Whatever, and this is the percentage. You asked this question last time again. This is why you give him an incentive to work harder and you make him part of the company basically. Whereas if you give him a setup, a set amount of money, there is no incentive for him to work. I'm gonna get my, $500 a day regardless if I work or not, if I trade or not. So when you make him a partner and you give him a percentage, there is a protection. Both are allowable, but the percentage gives the incentive, right? الله. وعن ثابت بن الضحاك أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم نهى عن المزارعة وأمر بالمؤاجرة. So المزارعة is what we mentioned, إنه على جزء من الأرض غير معلوم. والمؤاجرة is the form that we mentioned. So Ibn al-Dhahhak radiyallahu anhu said the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam made forbidden to work in a land based on a piece, unknown piece of it, a third of, this, as we mentioned, the back of the land, a third of the land. But he allowed to take a percentage of use. Is that clear now? Sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa alihi walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.
The infamous
التضمين.